Yo guys, Vlad back here with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my Tri-brigade Zoodiac deck that I took to a 5th place finish at the UK Extravaganza Giant card, but also a top 16 finish at the main event the day after on the Sunday, which is the day I'm recording this video. I haven't uploaded a video in too long and do kind of still want to make some videos about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that is kind of where my heart lies. Now, I haven't really taken the game seriously in quite a while just because I'm not the biggest fan of remote dueling, I'm not the biggest fan of playing online either. For me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just playing in person against an opponent, but remote duels is the closest thing to it, so I'll make do for now. Anyway, this list I basically stole from one of my good friends, Herman Handlebar Hansen. Very kind enough to give me his deck list. However, I do think, and Herman also believes, I think we have a lot of, there's a lot of room for improvement in the deck. There was quite a few cards that I did not quite like, but I didn't have enough time to, change the deck between Saturday and Sunday, because I was up until 5 AM on Discord, and then I woke up the next morning at like 9, I'm like, I have to pay for registration and enter this event, so I did. But now I have my qualification for the next stage of the remote duel qualifier thingies, which is whenever. I have no idea when it is. But anyway, without enough stalling, let me get right into profile. So we're going to be starting off the monsters. So for the monsters, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Tri-brigade Fractal. We're always going to be playing 3 copies of Fractal in every single Tri-brigade deck that we're playing. Kid is and then we're also playing 3 Kid in this version, 3 Nerval and 2 Karis. So the 2 Karis might be a bit peculiar to some, because you would think that, oh, you just play 3 Karis. Well, Karis is actually the worst Tri-brigade monster. It's not a starter on its own, and you realistically only really want it to add off of something like Nerval. And by something like Nerval, it only gets added off of Nerval. But I really did like this ratio of Tri-brigades. I do sometimes wish I played the 3rd Karis, though. The 3rd Karis, just having an extra Tri-brigade name would have been nice, but that's just because of other cards that I played later on that you'll notice. I felt like this Tri-brigade ratio was just did the job. If you don't know what any of these cards do, there will be a deck download link in the description on Dueling Book that you can just follow along with the profile, and also you can just take and leave and then not hear the explanations if you really want to. But anyway, that is the Tri-brigade count that I used. Not much to explain there, but yeah, Karis is just the worst one. Even though it is an extender, it is the worst Tri-brigade, and it's searchable most of the time whenever you need it. So yeah, that's what we're going to play too. Next, we're going to be going to the Zoodiac package of the deck, so we're going to be playing 1 copy each of Ratpierre, Whiptail, and Ramram. So I really liked Whiptail. Whiptail is really nice just for the Elish matchup in particular, because you get to attack with like a Borbo into a defense position Golden Lord, and then you just banish it with Whiptail. Whiptail's effective banish monsters does come up the occasional time. It's also nice into something like App Cologne. In defense mode, you can banish it with Whiptail, which is really, really nice. Ramram is really, really strong. I would be considering playing a 2nd copy of Ramram, maybe cutting the Whiptail, even though the Whiptail interactions were really nice. I think that the 2nd Ramram is a bit better. Ramram is really good into Dogmatic Punishment, which is a card that all the Shadow decks are playing. Well, not all of them, but like most. And Ramram is just really nice just to make it so your Zoodiac XYZ can't be targeted by the punishment, which is really nice. Oh, it negates the punishment at the very least, which is really nice with Ramram. It didn't come up that much for me. I don't think it actually came up at all, but it can potentially come up, especially in a format that has Dragon Maid Tiding. This effect comes up a lot more than you think it does. But yeah, I'm really happy with the 3 Zoodiac monsters. I didn't really feel like I ever needed more Zoodiac monsters. I did kind of feel like I wanted more Zoodiac extra deck monsters, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, the Zoodiac ratio is 1-1-1. I'll get into why I played, or like the reasoning behind the Zoodiac monsters later. Next, we're going to be going into hand traps. So 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Drone Lockbird, 2 Ghost Bell, and Haunted Mansion. I'm also just going to dig out the imprims here. So these are the hand traps of choice for this event. So since that it was a remote duel event, it was a much smaller scale event, that I think these hand traps were serviceable. However, I personally believe that you actually don't need that many hand traps to beat Dragon Link, and I'm pretty sure you can just beat that deck by just setting trap cards. One change you do want to do in the future is replace all of these hand traps, apart from Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is a fantastic card, but these 8 cards, I literally wish they were Melfi cards, or I just wish they were like Torrential Tributes and like Ice Dragon's Prisons. Like, I just wish they were those instead. Actually, I kind of do like Bell. So Bell's kind of interesting. I'll actually talk about Bell a little bit. Imperm and Droll. I guess I'll talk about Imperm quickly. So I'll go more into Bell, but so Droll obviously really good against Shaddoll Invoked, which searches his deck a lot. Well, Shaddoll Invoked Dogmatica searches his deck a lot. Really strong hand trap against that deck. Good against Dino, which I played 3 against, by the way. Beat them all. I didn't need Droll, but it's good against that deck. And then it's also good against Dragon Link, because they go Striker Dragon, add Boot Sector Launch. This can really stunt their place. Infinite Impermanence is kind of interesting choice here. I think it's a really nice card just to beat things like Mechaba. If you drop Decker for turn, you can go Imperm on Mechaba, and then you're kind of chilling. And then likewise, you can just set it like a trap card, and it just is fine. However, I think it's a bit too low impact, and I might just cut it. I don't think there's anything in the format you'd realistically want to Imperm. Imperming... it's like good against Alistair, I suppose. It's good against decks that play triple tactical talents, because it does get around talents in against the Dragon Link deck, so you can like Imperm their Savage, and then you're kind of chilling, which is nice. It does fall prey to Phantasme though, which I did run into a couple of times. Phantasme really does a number in on this deck, and I really wish this was just a Torrential or something instead. Same thing with the Droll Lockbird. I don't think it realistically ever mattered for me, and if I think if the Drolls were ever just more trap cards, I actually would have won the games where I drew the Droll, which is depressing. But I want to get to Bell quickly. Bell's absolutely phenomenal in this format. Apart from stopping things like Called by the Grave, little known fact, by the way, it can negate things like Scarlet Sanguine, which is a card in the format. Not many people play Eldritch, but the more important interaction is that this can negate Nadir Servant. Now, I know a lot of you probably already know that this can negate Servant, but Nadir Servant can add from grave to hand, so therefore, Ghost Bell can basically act as another copy of Ash Blossom against that card. So if you open Ash and Bell against Shaddoll Dogmatica, and they go Alistair effect, you Ash it, they don't have the invocation, they go Nadir Servant, you can Bell it, and then if they don't have a second one, you're chilling, and then their turn probably ends. Alternatively, you just Droll them and then their turn ends. But you know, sometimes they just draw the invocation. Additionally, this can also negate invocation, which is kind of neat. Negates also Ice Dragon's Prison, which does hurt quite a bit. It's also really nice that it has a lot of really nice interactions. Really good card. I actually really I appreciate this card a lot this weekend. These 6 I really did not like though. I would probably keep these 5 hand traps going forward, but not these 6. But yeah, enough about the hand traps. Anyway, I kind of dawdled on too long with those, but yeah, that's all my monsters I played along with hand traps. For spells, we played 1 Zoodiac Barrage to summon Zoodiac monsters, 1 Call by the Grave because of Ash Blossom and Joy Springs. That card's pretty good, but also just a good trap card, this format, in my personal opinion. It's good going second against dragons because you can use Call by on Seal. Next we're playing, this is a weird one it might seem. So 3 Pod Desires, I'll get into this a little bit, and then 3 Fire Formation Tenki. Tenki grabs Zoodiac monsters and Fractal. I don't think we need to really explain it more than that. Called by the Grave we already kind of explained, and then Barrage. It summons Zoodiac monsters from the deck. We're always going to be playing in Zoodiac decks. Now, Pod Desires. This is kind of a weird one. So if you notice, in my deck, I did not have the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, Apex Avian, and also there's no Rendezvous in this deck. What's up with that? Well, by cutting those cards, you can just get away with playing Pod Desires. Pod Desires, I think, is really strong in decks that play trap cards because getting a +1, just drawing trap cards is pretty good. You're usually way ahead of your opponent, and this deck realistically only ever needs 1 card to play, 1.5 cards to play, let's say. If you open something like, so you have so many cards that you can open, right, to actually play the game, right? So we have Desires, we have the Barrage, we have the 3 copies of Tenki, then we also have the 3 Zoodiacs that we play. This gets us to Dryden at the very least, and that's fine. Going second, they're phenomenal as well. Next we have, okay, Karis isn't a star, that doesn't count. But if you draw Nerval with a Beast Warrior Wing Beast, you're chilling. If you draw a Kit with a Beast Warrior Wing Beast, you're also chilling. And then if you just draw Fractal on its own, you're chilling. That's a lot of cards that you can draw to start off your plays. And I think that is just more than enough. And you realistically don't really care about what cards are in your deck. As long as you can normal summon a Tri-brigade, banish some dudes from your graveyard, you're chilling. You can play the game. And I think Desires is really nice in a deck that is built this way. It just also means that your extra safe from prosperity. Because banishing your extra cards in this deck actually kind of hurts because you do kind of run low. Now I will say, if you don't play the Zoodiac cards, you can kind of get away with playing Prosperity instead of Desires, because a lot of the extract in this deck is taken up by the XYZs you have to play that come along with playing the Zoodiacs. But I think the Zoodiacs are good enough inclusion, and they kind of do synergize well with the deck, which I'll go more into later. Next, onto the trap cards that I played. Apart from Infinite Impermanence that we already went over, I'm playing 3 copies of Tri-brigade Revolt, probably the best card in the deck. This card is absolutely amazing. It's literally return from a different dimension, but also it banishes a card on your opponent's turn. You search a card on your opponent's turn because of Nerval, and when the Shureg dies, you might be searching another Nerval from deck to hand, or any of your Tri-brigade monsters, depending on how many banished tri-types you have. Revolt, crazy. The options it gives you is phenomenal. If you draw 2 of these and you do have like Tri-brigades going, you can use 1 on your opponent's turn, 1 on your turn, and then you just have so much crazy advantage. This card's absolutely phenomenal. Really, really, really strong card. You do have to keep in mind though, you have to kind of keep your board kind of clear, because you do need to be able to summon 4 monsters to be able to summon Shureg. If you've hard made Fairy Sheet, then you can summon the Fairy Sheet and you're chilling as well. But yeah, this card's absolutely phenomenal. You definitely do have to play it in a deck like this. And also, when Bear Bloom comes out, this card's searchable. So that's great. That's a lot. This deck gets definitely a lot better when the Bear Bloom comes out. But I still think it's very, very good in the TCG even without Bear Bloom. You don't necessarily need Revolt, but when you draw Revolt, you know, it feels way better. It feels way, way better. And then for the other traps I played, we played 3 copies of Solemn Strike and the God card, Imperial Order. I would like to say that yes, I drew Imperial Order an insane amount of times this weekend. However, between drawing off of Desires and drawing off of Fairy Sheet, it's not that uncommon to see Imperial Order. A lot of the time it was in the mid game to late game. Drawing a first turn is also pretty good. I drew it going second against Shaddoll once, and absolutely blew my opponent out of the game. I was pretty sick, and I was going second. They had Mechaba and stuff. And I was just chilling my set cards, and they just lost to the Imperial Order into the Revolt. It was crazy. But yeah, I really love these traps. I do wish I played a few more though. When I drew traps, I was usually winning the game with this deck. So I really wish I was playing more trap grids. You could also get away with playing. There can be only one in this deck, by the way. But you do have to play around, and it's kind of weird to play around. But yeah, these are the last traps I played. Solemn Strike is really strong all-around trap card. This format's good going first, going second. Imperial Order, lots of powerful spells. This format always has utility against every single matchup. And also means that you don't have to side it. It means that like you don't get screwed over by like main deck Harpies, Feather Dusters, and things like that. On to the extra deck, which is the most important part of the deck. We are playing 4 Zoodiac Equizes, so we're playing Trident, Tiger Mortar, Chakanine, Borbo, and then Zeus. So these are the 5 XYZs that we are playing, 4 Zoo XYZs, and then 1 Zeus. So this is the entire point of playing the Zoodiac engine. The Zoodiac engine allows you to not only have more tri-type monsters to fill up your graveyard with, but they also give you access to Zeus in a very good way. Now, obviously, the Lyrilusks also get you to do this, but the thing is that with the Lyrilusks, you do kind of need to open Warbler and Fractal to be able to do anything, whereas with the Zoodiacs, you can just open 1 Zoo, and then you're chilling. You can use Fergie to special summon the Zoodiacs from your hand. You can search the Zoodiacs with Shureg, which I'll show you later for a quick little cool combo. And then also, Borbo attack direct, Zeus. You also have Dryden turn 1. It's so good. It boosts the consistency greatly. You can mind game your opponent by game 1. You can make your opponent think you're playing Zoo. And then you just hit them with the Tri-brigade cards, and they never expect the Tri-brigade cards. The amount of times my opponents were just flabbergasted by the fact that I was playing, like, after I summoned a Dryden, the next turn I activated Fractal, they lost their shit. They frankly did just lose their shit. But yeah, we're really happy with these. Tigermore never really comes up. Chakanine's really good because of Fairy Sheet. So you summon something off Fairy Sheet, you link them off. Or sorry, you summon something off Chakanine, you make Fairy Sheet, and then you're chilling, and you're doing some crazy plays there, probably. But yeah, I'm kind of fine with this ratio. I do wish Dryden was at 2 or something, though. A second Dryden would have been really, really nice a lot of the time. Because I kept drawing the Zoodiac monsters after I'd gone through my entire extra deck, which sucks. Next up, we got the Link monsters. So we've got 1 Almirage. This is pretty important for linking off your Kit and Nerval off to get them to the graveyard to be able to again search Karis or what have you from deck to hand. Very important card, very good, very strong. Never missed the other copies, because after you've gone through the first copy, you realistically have a lot of tri-types in your graveyard, so you never need to link off the dude on your board. Next, we're playing one copy of the Ancient Warrior's Oath, Double Dragon Lords. Card's pretty good. Quick effect, bounce on during either player's turn is pretty strong. We like this card. It's part of our end board as well. And then the last link 2s we're playing is 2 copies of Ferrigit, the Barren Blossom. The card's really important in this deck, just because you are summoning Zoodiacs from your hand, like a lot of the time with Ferrigit, but also the combos. Since you're not playing the Samorg barrier statue stuff, our combos are a lot different than the bird up deck. Not too different, but they're different enough. 2 Ferrigit was absolutely fine. Its draw effect's phenomenal, especially when you're not playing Prosperity, because it means you actually get to use the draw effect. And one thing to note is, if you're trying to, change this deck for Lightning Overload, or Overdrive, sorry, you literally just take out one of these Ferrigits, put in Barrier Bloom, and the extract stays the exact same. This is literally the only change between TCG and OCG version of Tri-brigade Zoo. For link 3s, we're playing one copy of Rugal, the Silver Sheller. It's a link 3 Tri-brigade monster. That's all you really need to know. Its effect on field did come up a couple of times, but it's not the most relevant thing on the planet. It's nice for a grind game, to be honest. One Craze Velgar. This card's phenomenal against decks like Eldritch and a Dinosaur. You get to shuffle back their Misk or shuffle back their Golden Lords into the deck, which is pretty nice. Yeah, really, really good card. It was 4,800 attack points a lot of the time. Pretty cool card. It's just really there to ladder into. It's one of the only other good link 3 tri-types that you can play. Apart from Samorg, obviously, but we're not playing Barrier Statue and stuff like that. And we're playing 4 link 4s, because it's link 4, not link 5 or anything like that. We're playing 1 Access Code, 1 Apollo, and 2 copies of Shuraig, the Ominous Omen. I really do wish I played a 3rd Shuraig. I'm not gonna lie. I really missed the 3rd Shuraig a lot. God, I wish I could fit in the 3rd Shuraig somehow. But either way, really phenomenal card. Make sure you remember that this card has a other effect where if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add from deck to hand a new tri-type. Very, very strong effect, and we also do use it a lot in the combos. We use Access Code to go for game, we use Apollo for our end board, and then Shuraig is just to get summoned off of Revolt, realistically. You go through one on your first turn, usually, and then the other Shuraigs for the Revolt. And then you're usually winning the game after that, so that's nice. So that's the extract we played, a nice clean 15. And now we'll go into the synergies of the deck. So the entire point of this deck, so you might be wondering, well, Vlad, isn't this kind of counterproductive? The Tri-brigades kind of need their normal summon, and the Zoodiac monsters also kind of need their normal summon, because, well, the Zoodiacs, the only real extender that gets you the Zoodiacs for free is the Barrage. Well, thanks to Ferrigit, we can summon the Zoodiac monsters from our hands, so the normal summon isn't that important. But also, a lot of the time, we do have a combination of just being able to special summon a Karis from our hand to make it so we don't have to use our normal summon, which means we can use our normal summon for our Zoodiac monster, so you can just end on a Trident at most of the time on our end boards. And if we get Nibiru, you just normal summon a Zoo, and then you make a Trident, and you chill. You attempt to chill. It is a lot better to play through Nibiru after Lightning Overdrive because of Barrier Bloom being able to search Rendezvous. It's pretty nice. But then you don't get to end on the Trident, which is fine because you have not Rendezvous, Revolt. I keep calling it Rendezvous, I don't know why. The entire point of the Zoodiac engine, once again, is that the Tri-brigade engine is, so it's somewhat flawed, so it's not very good at going second. The Tri-brigade monsters, if you just bounce them back to hand, they don't necessarily do a whole lot. You do need, you kind of do need to play through zero interruption to be able to do anything with them. However, with the Zoodiac monsters, you are able to just slam them down going second into boards, stack them high, make a Zeus, and then you're just chilling. You just have a big old stack under the Zeus, and then you just go effect like 9 times, and then the board's broken, and then you activate Karis, discard Kit, and then you extend the handshake. But also, cool thing is that the Zoodiacs also fill up your graveyard for your Tri-brigade effects. So after you do your Zeus, on the following turn, you normal summon a Karis or Fractal, you banish 3, you make Access Code, and then Access Code plus Zeus is 83. So yeah, really easy OTK pushes, playing through Nibiru and everything. It's pretty cool. But yeah, Zoodiacs really complement the deck really well. They fill up the graveyard, their starter cards as well, and the fact that they can just make Trident and you get to pass, and it's something, you know? And also just being able to make Zeus, it's just so powerful. It's such a nice engine in this deck. You get to make Synergies with it, you can summon them from hand, you can search them. It's so good. It is so good in this deck. I cannot understate it. That fact. They have a really nice synergy, and there is a reason why this deck has been topping in the OCG as well. Now, I will quickly go into my side deck. My side deck did not change whatsoever, and my deck list at all did not change whatsoever between the two events, the Giant card and the main event. So the side deck was 2 Skullmeisters, 3 copies of Nibiru, 3 Gamma, 1 Driver, 3 Twin Twisters, and 3 Solemn Judgment. So the Skullmeisters usually went in for Bells against Dinosaur. Really good against Dinosaur, you just negate Misk. Whereas Bell doesn't really have a use against Dinosaur. Nibiru, good against Dragon Link and other kind of greedy decks. Gamma, once again, Dragon Link, other greedy decks. Twin Twisters, good against Shaddoll and other back row decks. Judgment, you put it in going first against literally everything. Sometimes you take out Droll for this. It depends on the matchup, realistically. But a lot of the cards are... It's quite easy to side in this deck. You just take out trap cards when you're going second. You put in trap cards when you're going first. Weird. And then you take out hand traps that are bad in said matchup, and then you put the ones that are good in said matchup. You take out Imperm, and you just put in the Birus and Gammas against Dragon Link. You take out your strikes, you take out like a Revolt, and then you're chilling, you know? Siding with this deck is nice. You never have to really side out any of your engine monsters or anything like that. But yeah, I will quickly now show you guys one of the combos of the deck. This deck kind of weird in the sense that it doesn't really have... It does have like set combos in a sense. It does have some crazy ones. It does get a lot better after Bear Bloom, so you do get to end on Revolt every single hand. But I will just quickly show you some of the combos that I have discovered. So the first little combo I'm going to be showing you guys is Karis plus either Fractal, Nerval, or Kit. Doesn't realistically matter which one you start with. So in this situation, we're just going to be starting with Karis, and then Karis is going to be discarding the Kit. We're going to use the effect of Kit. When she's sent to the graveyard, we get to send a Tri-brigade from deck to grave. We're going to send Nerval, and then Nerval's going to add Fractal. Got me so far? Good. Next, we're going to be using the effect of the Karis, banishing the 2 Tri-types in our graveyard, and we're going to be summoning Ferjit, the Barren Blossom. Next, we're going to be using her effect to special summon the Tri-type that we have in our hand, which is going to be Fractal, and then we're going to be linking both of these into the Rugal. And next we get to use the effect of Fergie, since that she was sent to the graveyard. We get to draw a card and then put one on the bottom, so we get to fix her hand. This effect usually does draw everything you'd ever wanted. Now do keep in mind, you don't have your normal summon yet, so you are digging through your deck, so you can draw potentially Tenki, you can draw Desires, you can draw another Tri-type. Other Tri-type I don't think realistically changes the combo all that much, but it's nice to have. You can kind of, freestyle the combos as you go along. Drawing a Zoodiac is the best one you want to draw. So next we're going to be using the effect of Fractal here, and we're banishing 2 Tri-brigade monsters in our graveyard to now special summon the Ancient Warrior's Oath, double Dragon Lords. And then we're going to be linking both of these, the Rugal and the Fractal, into Appaloosa. So it might look like a weak board, because it is. It's not the strongest board on the planet. This is more of a control deck, but you do have 2 negates and a bounce for the cost of just 2 dudes, which is fine. You have 3 other cards in your hand, so you're probably just going to be setting trap cards, or you have hand traps. I have found, by the way, that the best thing to do against Shaddoll Invoked is to just set Nerval and pass. Because they can't beat it. Probably. I don't know. That's what my dad said. Anyway. So that's like a quick little... That's like the basic play of the deck. There is a more, I guess, intense play, which I will show you now as well. So this requires the usage of opening Karis and also 2 Tri-brigades. Yes, 2 Tri-brigades that aren't Karis. Essentially, is what you need to order. We need to open. So we're going to be starting once again with Karis discarding Kit, and then Kit's going to be sending Nerval, and then Nerval this time is going to be grabbing Fractal. Nerval, and then we're going to be actually using the Fractal in hand straight away, and we're going to be sending from deck to grave another Kit or something. Just try and make sure to keep the other Karis in your deck. Next, we're going to be using the effect of the Karis on field now, banishing the 4 in our grave to now special summon Tri-brigade Shuraig, the Ominous Omen. Next, we're going to be linking both of our Karis and our Shuraig, which might look a bit weird, but we're going to be linking both off into Ferrigit. Next, we're going to use the effect of Shuraig to add from deck to hand a level 4 lower Tri-type. In this scenario, we're going to be grabbing Zoodiac, Rat Pierre, Luigi. And we haven't normal summoned yet, so we're going to be normal summoning the Rat Pierre now. Rat Pierre is going to be dumping our Rat, or Ram rather, from deck to grave, Ram Ranch. And we get to use a Ferrigit to summon the Nerval from our hand. You can just do the Rat Pierre after you've special summoned the Nerval, but it doesn't realistically matter. Next, we're going to be using the effect of Fractal, banishing the 2 Tri-types in our graveyard, so it's Shuraig and the Karis, to summon the double Dragon Lords. Then we're going to be overlaying a Chakanine over our Rat Pierre. We're going to be using its effect, detaching the Rat Pierre, and then bringing back the Rat Pierre. And then we're going to link our Nerval, our Rat Pierre, and our Ferrigit into Appaloosa for 3. And then we're going to get to use the effect of our Ferrigit to draw a card and put one on the bottom. Cycling cards is very good. You can draw Desires off this, you can draw Tenki, you can draw whatever. And then next we're going to be putting a Tigermoor over the Chakanine. We're going to be putting our Ram attached to our Tigermoor, and then we're going to be having a Dryden. So, without opening a single Zoodiac monster, we've been able to end with a Zoodiac monster, which is kind of neat. Going second, these plays are a lot better, because you don't have to necessarily make Apollo when you're going second. It is nice to play around Nibiru though. You can, and also once again, when you're going second, you're going to go Shuraig, and you can also just go Shuraig effect, banish a card from the field, and then you can just keep going. The layers in this deck are phenomenal. Now I will say, combos do change quite drastically after Lightning Overdrive, so do keep that in mind. Not drastically, but they do change quite a lot. The combos are a bit more down to earth, but you do get to end with Revolt every single time, which usually just makes this FDK. You have a bounce, you have triple negate, and then you also have the driving pop, which if you're playing as Prank Kids, one of these is already enough. There's 5. That's a big difference. But yeah. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed my Tri-brigade Zoodiac deck that I played at the Remote Duel Extravaganza. I'll see you guys next time.